Welcome back into Ryan Jacobson Weather. Hope your day is off to a great start. Let's get right into the forecast for today. And as you can see, we have pretty active weather right now across the U.S. We have a large thunderstorm complex currently moving right across Wisconsin, and that is bringing some severe thunderstorms this morning, and it's going to ramp back up going into this afternoon as we do have a slight risk for severe weather today. We have a second low pressure developing here in northern Texas and southern Oklahoma, and that's going to trigger off another round of thunderstorms going into this afternoon and evening. It just looks like we have a very active pattern ahead for severe weather, unfortunately. So let's get right into the forecast for today. So this is the current look right now. As you can see, it looks pretty quiet on radar, but you're going to see once we go into this afternoon and evening, we're going to see an explosion of storms, you could say. Here's that low pressure, 999. There's that thunderstorm complex currently moving across southern Wisconsin. And some of these are severe right now. There are multiple severe thunderstorm warnings out there as I speak. So obviously be weather aware if you're in those areas through this morning. And then as we go into this afternoon here, you can see that kind of dies off and then refires up across Michigan. But look at this. There's our secondary low developing here. This is basically in New Mexico going into Texas. It's going to be a weak low pressure, but it's going to fire off a large area of thunderstorms ranging all the way from northern Michigan all the way back down into Texas. And as you can see, it is going to quickly strengthen here. It's going to go from 1,000. I guess it'll technically weaken a little bit, but it is going to strengthen thunderstorm wise. So our severe weather threat is going to be in this corridor from Michigan going back down into Texas. So a large area under the gun for severe weather today. As I push this into tomorrow here, the storms continue eastward, and this is going into tomorrow afternoon. The storms refire back off, this time a little bit further to the south. So we're definitely going to have another severe weather threat tomorrow. And it's still unknown how large this threat's going to be, but there definitely is going to be some severe thunderstorms going into tomorrow evening into the late afternoon into the evening as well. Let me push this forward here. This is now going to Easter Sunday. And as I've been saying, this looks the most concerning here. Obviously, we have that low pressure, these strong thunderstorms right out in front in the warm sector here, ranging all the way from Iowa back down into southern Texas. So this looks like the most concerning threat, severe weather-wise, going into Easter Sunday. And obviously, it is still a slight risk of severe weather, but I definitely could see that getting upgraded for sure. This is now going into Monday the 21st here. You can see more storms kind of fire off a little bit on Monday, but definitely not as much. There's not going to be much of a severe weather threat on Monday. But going back into Tuesday here, you can see some areas of storms fire off here across Texas, going all the way back. And then watch this, going into Wednesday here, there's another area of storms kind of firing off here across, multiple areas across the country. So we'll just keep our eyes on that. But it does look like there's a pretty active, week of weather in front of us. So this is the day one outlook. And as you can see, we do have a slight risk for severe weather today. That's ranging from Wisconsin and western Michigan back down into central Texas. There is a 5% risk for tornadoes today, and that's mostly across portions of Oklahoma, especially central Oklahoma. There also is that large wind risk today with these thunderstorms. There even is a hatched 15% risk for severe hail. So that hail risk is the greatest threat for today. But again, we could also see some damaging winds and a couple of spin-up tornadoes as well. We did see a couple of tornadoes yesterday, and there's actually some large ones at that. Again, it was a pretty localized area for seeing tornadoes, but we did see a couple of them, come down. And we don't know the exact damage and anything like that just yet, but we do know that there definitely was a couple of tornadoes yesterday. Let me show you that day two outlook. As you can see, there is a slight risk for severe weather. And like I said, it's a little bit further to the south. So this time it's, Missouri going back into central Texas, all the way to the Mexico border. There is a 5% risk for tornadoes tomorrow as well. And this really includes portions of central Texas. There's a wind risk with this storm, and there's also a hail risk. So it looks pretty similar to today's setup, just a little bit further to the south. Let me go to that day three outlook. And as you can see, we still have a slight risk for severe weather, but we are only on the day three outlook. I could always see that getting, going up to enhanced risk for sure, as I think that, there's just more ingredients in place on Sunday, unfortunately. So we'll just keep you updated on that. And then nothing for the day 4 outlook. Day 4 and 5 predictability is too low. I wouldn't be surprised if we get closer to these days, we see a slight risk for severe weather. But again, time will tell as we still are over 3 days out. Here's the temperatures over the next couple of weeks here. Let me play this forward for you guys. As you can see, this is going into today here. It's going to be pretty nice across most of the country. This is going into Saturday. You can see that cooler air kind of dropping behind this thunderstorm complex. Warmer air getting pushed further to the east here. It's going to be a little bit chillier on Easter Sunday here. This is going to Sunday afternoon, Easter Sunday. As you can see, if you're kind of in the south, eastern region of the U.S., it's going to be pretty nice, especially along portions of, it's going to be reaching up to 90 degrees here, north, south, Carolina, as well as Georgia going into Florida. It's going to be really, really warm, but most of the country a little bit cooler. Up here in, New York State, we're only expecting highs maybe in the low 50s. This is going into Monday here. You can see that warm air continues now to surge further northward. This is now Tuesday, and then this is now going into Wednesday here. So it looks to be pretty nice across most of the country. I think the story is going to be warmer air in the east, cooler air in the west. We'll just keep you updated on that as well. Lastly, here's the total precipitation over the next couple of days. And we could see some heavy precip from these different thunderstorm complexes moving through. There's that first round today. This is now going into Sunday here. There's that second, even third round. This is now going to Monday. This is now going, into Tuesday. So again, we are going to just see rounds and rounds of, thunderstorms moving through these areas, and it could add up. This is all the way through next Saturday here, the 26th. But portions across Missouri could see up to 5, even 6 inches of rain here. So again, be aware there could be a chance for minor flooding because just all these different thunderstorms moving through with heavy rainfall. The rain totals could add up in some of these areas, but I'd say definitely above average precipitation is expected for the central U.S., ranging all the way from Texas back into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. As a lot of stormy activity expected over these next couple of days. I thank you guys all for stopping by. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Continue to just keep checking back for daily updates on the weather ahead, as I'll have a video out tomorrow morning talking about tomorrow's severe weather threat. So I thank you for stopping by. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.